happy Moon Day. It's March 6th, 2023, and this is Claudia Thompson of Moon Powered Astrology. Hold on, something's going on here. Oh, I guess it's probably my incense. If it does that again, I will open the door. Yes, I've got rose incense burning. Rose is the highest, supposedly the highest frequency as far as scent goes. And so I love rose incense. So if you are joining me for the live stream, please check in. Let me know you're here. Let me know where you're hailing from. And as we go along through the show, if you have comments or questions, let me know those. The replay for this will be available on YouTube, on Facebook. And if you go to YouTube, please subscribe. Oh, hi, a Facebook user. I don't know. I don't see a name, but hello, Facebook user. And good morning. Happy Moon Day. Yes. And happy March, right? So subscribe on YouTube. If you watch me on Facebook, please like, follow, comments. I love to hear from you. And wow, what a month. Can you feel it? Yeah. The winds of March that usually usher in spring are blowing gale force, and we're going to have gale force changes occurring with the planets and here on Earth this month. So we have a full moon tomorrow morning at 4:40 a.m. Pacific Standard Time at 16 degrees of Virgo. So I'm going to be talking about that. 1 hour after the full moon, we have a big shift as Saturn moves into Pisces for the next 2.5 years. Big change. And so I'm going to be talking about that. And then I'll dance through with brief or no explanation of all the planets that are shifting this month, because if you include Ceres, and when they demoted Pluto to a dwarf planet, they promoted Ceres to planetary status. And that's the goddess of the grain, the mother energy of the earth. And so that planet is shifting signs as well. And all together, including Mercury having moved into Pisces on the 2nd, we have a month of 7 planetary shifts. Really big stuff. And as our DNA is wired with the universe that was present, particularly at the time we were born, but these transits are like a spiral staircase ever elevating us. So as we always begin, put your feet on the floor, your palms up in your lap, and let's do the heart drop together. Just begin to feel your breath come and go. Become aware of your breath. Bring it up from below your feet, down in the earth. Bring that grounding, beautiful energy. All the colors of the earth grounding you, moving up through your body. And the prana, the life force gift from source, filling every cell of your body. Is your belly moving? Put your hands on your belly to be sure that you're getting a full breath. To live fully, you must breathe fully. Up all the way to the top of your head, up through your nose, and exhale through your mouth. You can even emit a sigh if you wish, because you are here, present with me in this moment. Inhale. Make your exhalation a little longer than your inhalation. Feel the prana move into every one of those trillions of cells in your body, enlivening them, waking them up, ready for a new week of harmony. Let the prana harmonize every cell of your body, from the tips of your toes to the tips of your fingers, your shoulders, the top of your head. And now as the next inhalation moves to the top of your crown, see white light pouring down through your crown chakra, filling every cell of your body and clearing, cleansing any negativity, anything that is not part of this present moment. Just allow it to be released with the light and the exhalation. Another breath like that. And now, on the next inhalation, Move all the way up, and on the exhalation, feel the energy move down from your head. So any thinkety-think, any consciousness that is not in the present moment is released. And on the exhalation, you move down through your face, your neck, your chest, come to rest in your heart. And now breathe in and out of your heart. Feel how safe it feels to be in your heart. Notice if there's anything that is preventing you from being fully in your heart. And now on the next inhalation, a beautiful rosy glow of light comes into your heart. Think of rose quartz, rhodochrosite, rhodonite. Rhodonite's a wonderful one because it's got some hematite running through it, which grounds you as well. And that rosy glow fills your heart with self-love. You know, a wonderful thing to do is tap on your thymus, which is between your throat, your thyroid, and your heart, and say, I deeply love and appreciate myself. I deeply love and appreciate myself. I deeply love and appreciate myself. Big key to your healthy immune system. And now on the next breath, breathe in emerald green light. The emerald light of healing joins that rosy glow, healing your heart of any past wounds, of any disharmony, preparing it to open to love again in this romantic cycle of Pisces. I've mentioned before that watermelon tourmaline is a wonderful stone for heart healing and self-love. And now that light, as it fills every one of those trillions of cells in your body, just feel those colors commingle and send that glow of love through every cell of your body. This amazing form that allows you to experience life on earth. And now that light on the next exhalation moves through your skin and out to feel your auric field, your Merkaba, and the room that you're in. So inside out, you are surrounded, filled with love. And when you are complete, open your eyes. I hope that if you had any tension in your shoulders, that dropped with the breaths. Yeah. So there is a lot going on in March. And as I mentioned, it's already begun because on the 2nd, we had Mercury move into Pisces. And that is it changes the communication from air, which is very intellectual in Aquarius, to water, intuitive, telepathic, empathy, communication that is compassionate, and the communication that is beyond words. That connection of your consciousness with the divine. Yes. Yolanda, hello. Oh, she says Ceres is on her ascendant. So, yeah, so Ceres is changing signs this month. So that's always very revelatory for all of us, but especially for someone who has it on their ascendant, meaning the doorway to their chart and the way that their self-identity, their earth mask projects into the world, and also the filter through which one receives information. So Ceres is currently in it's currently in Leo. It's going to move into Virgo. So we have with 7 planetary bodies changing, shifting this month. That not only means that we have elements changing. So we have elements changing, for instance, from air to earth and water, etc. But we also have characteristics and qualities of energy changing. So this is a lot. And we are having more coronal mass ejections. We're still moving through the photon belt, which is a once in many, 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 many lifetimes, 26,000 years occurrence. And so we are being bombarded with light. I've mentioned before that the Schumann resonance of the earth has risen. So The Earth is already, if you want to look at it dimensionally, the Earth is in the fifth dimension. And so we're experiencing the residue the of the past systems, the past old paradigms. But we are coming into the month that we light workers were born for. And it's a very soulful time, because Pisces corresponds with the 12th house, which has to do with our search for meaning and our connection to the divine. And how do we maintain that connection 24/7 so that we don't feel left out? So we don't feel that divine discontent from feeling that we were kicked out of heaven. No, we are the generators of heaven on earth right here. And that's what Pisces reminds us of. So, as I mentioned, tomorrow, Saturn moves into Pisces, and we move from air into water, having to do with Pisces. And it will be there until the 13th of February in 2026. We've had Saturn in 2 signs that it rules for almost 6 years. Moved through Capricorn, which has to do with government and institutions and discipline and responsibility and status. And we know that the status quo has been shaken up and continues to be shaken up. And I have a feeling we ain't seen nothing yet, Okay. So we also had it move through Aquarius, and it is shifting from Aquarius into Pisces. And so this is really big. This is one of the biggest things of this month, because Saturn is the last of what we call the personal planets. In ancient times, it was, before we discovered Uranus, which is considered to be a modern planet, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, because through the 1600s, through the 1900s, with the 1930s, bringing Pluto into discovery. Those outer planets were discovered. They're called the modern planets. But Saturn was the last planet that's visible to the naked eye in the sky. And at one time, it was considered to be the final planet in the solar system. And it's the planet where I feel as though a soul comes through the universe to come into manifestation in form. And when it gets to Saturn, you get a body. So Saturn has to do with form. It's a master builder. It's also the taskmaster, the teacher, the tester. It can also be the wise scholar. And Saturn says, let's build something. So Saturn's been comfortable in a Capricorn and Aquarius, even though it's made those of us with Capricorn and Aquarius energy uncomfortable at times, because it demands that we get it together, that we honor what we must do in life. And wherever Saturn is in your chart, that points to what you must do, what you must take responsibility for. It points to authority. And in Aquarius, it reminded us that freedom implies personal responsibility. And how are we taking personal responsibility in our own lives? Or are we down in conspiracy theories and thinking that there's a they out there that's doing something to us that negates our creatorship right away? Which world are you living in? And we are creators. That's what this time is all about. That's our pathway to freedom, to not let go of that awareness, of that consciousness. So this transit of Saturn through Pisces takes us back to 1996. So you might look back to see what was happening in your life then. And if you're 28 to 30 years old, you're having a Saturn return. And if you are twice that age, 58 to 60 or so, you're having your second Saturn return. And Saturn reminds us of maturation and aging. And what do we want to build? Saturn rejoices when we build something, when we have the discipline and dedication. But Pisces is a flowing, dissolving, dreamy energy. So this cycle, I've been talking about getting, Imagineering and being sure to bring your vision forward. And this full moon is going to ask you how you're doing with the nuts and bolts of all that, because Virgo is a detail-oriented sign. And Pisces and Virgo are all about service. So Saturn in Pisces shows us our limitations. And is there a limitation to our tolerance and our compassion, especially for ourselves? Mars in Gemini has been asking us how our self-talk sounds. Is it loving? Are we dropping into our heart, reminding ourselves to breathe in and out of our heart, filling ourselves and our environment with love several times a day? Yeah. And then welcoming the reality that you and source are one, that there is no me, as Jim Carrey says. You know, you wake up each morning and you decide to focus on your identity in this lifetime. That is how it gets created. Did you know that? You create yourself every day, every morning when you open your eyes. That's why if you can move into gratitude and appreciation immediately before all the thinkety think comes and drop into your heart immediately, then you'll be present and you won't be on with your to-do list before you've even allowed yourself to come back to this world out of dream time. And dream time is when Pisces thrives. Daydreams, night dreams, keep track of them, because Uranus is still providing a lot of ahas in Taurus as it sextiles this energy. And a sextile to me is like a promise. So the Uranus in Taurus asks us to be innovative, to innovate, but to remind ourselves that whatever our innovations are need to be earth-friendly, earth-centric. And actually, the other day I realized we are the new earth. We are in form. We are not separate. That's the biggest illusion. The perception of separation, and it's dangerous because that's what that's what the world dominators, as I call them, are really dedicated to, is separation. And so we're the ones who can live in awareness of oneness and bring that into reality, and not a oneness that's about power over, but that's about self-empowerment and power with the rhythms of life. So, the god of time, yes, Chronos, this is Saturn. Karma, discipline, and boundaries. It's the cosmic authority that stipulates limitations and dictates collective laws with the finality of bringing a sense of order. So here's where the challenge comes in with Pisces, because the order, it's a flowing energy. It was at home. Saturn was at home in Capricorn and Aquarius, even though it hasn't been an easy 5 to 6 years, because we were asked to realize that the authority is within us. It is not outside of us. And that time is an illusion. It's all about how we use it, how we perceive it. And that's why working with the lunar rhythms is so powerful, because that's true time, as opposed to clock time managed in nanoseconds by a calendar that was put into existence by a pope, by Pope Gregory. We had February 29th. I have a friend who has a birthday on February 29th, and we're always kidding her, saying, what are you, 17 now? But, she has a solar return, which is when the sun comes back to her place of birth, the same sign and degree. And so that was on the 28th. So something's askew with that calendar, right? But the lunar calendar will never let you down. It's the oldest, it's the ancient unerring calendar by which all life you see on Earth, all this beautiful, beautiful natural wonderland is created and thrives. So Saturn tests you, I mentioned that. And it's a tough but wise teacher. And it presents us with the hardest lessons, but also the greatest joy. So Saturn can bring reward. And that's actually the promise that Saturn holds out. It says, I'll test you, I'll show you your limitations, but remember, a blueprint requires limitations or boundaries, healthy boundaries. And that's always a challenge with energy in Pisces, establishing those healthy boundaries. And that will be one of the things that we're asked to do while Saturn is in Pisces. And that is establish healthy boundaries in our relationships. And so collectively, Saturn is about justice and the government and rules and regulations. So we are going to be connecting with a higher source, remembering that we are co-creating with source, that source breathes us into existence with every breath, all the time. And focusing on that connection, staying connected, cultivating the things that inspire you. So, so important. So I mentioned that it's what you must do. And you want to build something meaningful for yourself. And this also underscores your ability to show up for yourself and others with compassion and empathy. And that's where the boundaries, the healthy boundaries come in. Because if you have a lot of Piscean or Neptunian or even Jupiterian, these are the rulers of Pisces, if you have a lot of this energy, then you feel so much of what other people feel. And this full moon, one of the big words for this full moon is sensitive. The full moon, the moon itself, is in Virgo. 4:40 a.m. Pacific Standard Time tomorrow morning is when the moon and sun are exactly opposite each other, and Mercury and Neptune are also opposite the moon. So if you look back to the 27th of August, that was when the moon was new in Virgo. And that's the time when we purify and organize our environment. We cleanse and purge. We look at our health. Do we need to have a bit of a fast, which is a great thing to look forward to at the shift in seasons that's coming up on the 21st of March. So, this is along with all these planetary shifts that are happening. So it's the complexion of the cosmos and the complexion of life on Earth really, really changes this month. So it's going to feel very different. Saturn is the sober realist of the zodiac. And so Pisces reminds us to use our imagination and remain inspired and remain in touch with those things so that our reality doesn't get us down, but that we elevate it all the time. What elevates us? What inspires us? What's the frequency of what we are, of what we're experiencing? So I'm going to move through the week. Then I'm going to tell you, well, actually, let me go through, first of all, briefly, the shifts this month, just so you know, I'm talking about 7 shifts. I mentioned Mercury shifted into Pisces on the 2nd, and tomorrow, 1 hour after the full moon, Saturn will move into Pisces, taking us from the element of air to water. And on the 16th, Venus moves into Taurus, and I'll be talking more about that, where Venus is at home in Taurus. And so it's really going to have us looking at our resources, how we use our resources. Do we feel that our self-worth is directly reflected by our bank account, or do we know that we are enough, and that if we are enough, we have enough, that the source we are, the I am that I am, takes care of me all the time. And so I live in a frequency of health and wealth and freedom. Imagineering, bringing my dream into reality. On the 24th is a busy day. Oh, the 21st, the sun moves into Aries, and we have the equinox, day and night of equal length, ushering in spring. On the 24th, Pluto moves into Aquarius. Big stuff. And it will be there until June, when it will move in retrograde motion. And then by January 2024, it will move into Aquarius for a 20-year stay until, into the 2040s. So this is a long Pluto transit. And we're going to see a lot, as the moon of this country, the United States, it was in Aquarius when the Declaration of Independence was signed. So freedom to the people, freedom of humanity to be the creators that they are, and how the United States supports that or does not is going to come up for us all to see, to feel, to shift into power to the people, because we have Jupiter in Aries and Eris in Aries and Chiron in Aries, and they are all part of this full moon configuration that I'll be talking about. Also on that day, Ceres moves into Virgo. And Virgo is the ecologist of the zodiac, very much interested in the practical things we have to do to maintain a healthy environment in our physical bodies as well as on the planet. So on the 25th, Mars moves into Cancer. After 7.5 months in Gemini, it's going to be a big shift as it moves from air to water. So in Gemini, we've really seen the media brought up how, as I said before, there are no white hats. The media is corporately owned. And so picking sides, that's part of what we're rising above. That's part of what we rise out of in the fifth dimension. So 3D is very polarized, and it teaches us a lot. Duality, polarization teaches us a lot. But identifying with a party or with a platform that is polarizing, that is not all inclusive, is tricky, because the truth is the I am of your being. I am that I am. And I hear people identify themselves. I'm a this, I'm a that. Just watch out for that, because your frequency is going to determine the dimensional experience that you have. And as you know, it already is. So Saturn in Pisces is the celestial visionary artist. I love that. The celestial visionary artist. You are an Imagineer. And this full moon asks you what you're doing on a practical level to bring your dream down to earth. What have you been doing? Virgo and Pisces together, to me, are practical magic. The Magician card in the zodiac, in the tarot, which I feel is very indicative of Pisces. The Magician has all of the elements for alchemy on the table, with a luminous god, sign of infinity above its head. You might, if you have a tarot deck, you might, or even online, take a look at that card. It's really revelatory, because the Magician's hand, one hand is down over the table and the other hand is up to the energies of the divine. It's exactly what I've been talking about. The energy of the divine, the infinite field of consciousness, through the form, which comes through the hand, taking all these elements of value, letting the metrics or that the co-creation of source. And Pisces has to do with magic, because magic rules dreams. And you are a magician. But you must call in that higher energy, move out of this little form into that field of consciousness, which is infinitely powerful. So this full moon asks you to look back at August. Did you get organized? What now needs purifying? This is the health axis of the zodiac. Virgo has to do with physical health. Pisces has to do with spiritual, mental, emotional, because it has to do with 12th house zodiac, the final house, final sign of the zodiac. And so it points up, it's not sun is shining light on our areas.
Claudia, we've lost the signal a little bit.
And it also points to the habits and patterns that are related to that. It shows where we may feel alone, as I mentioned before, kicked out of heaven. You may find that if you have 12th house planets, then this full moon's very, very relevant. Yes, Capricorn. And this is the thing, to remember the lessons that we learned with Saturn moving through Capricorn and Aquarius, about how having the discipline, honoring the step-by-step plan that we've created. Oh, hi, Denise. Thank you so much. Oh, wow. Thank you. So, oh, Doug, hello. Wonderful, wonderful. And Maura, oh, you're welcome. Thank you for being here. So as we move into this full moon, sardonyx is a gem if you want to set up an altar for tomorrow morning. Sardonyx is the gem for Virgo. Aquamarine, those are just two suggestions for Pisces. And wildflowers are the flower for Virgo. It's one of them, and I think it's so appropriate for this time of year. I know we had daisies. There was a snowstorm the other day. You might have seen my video, and the daisies were just, still up above the snow and shining their bright happy light through the snowstorm. The next day, those daisies had grown between 1 and 2 inches, and I thought, there you go. This is so representative of how we've been in winter. And it may feel like we've had 5 to 6 years of winter for some of you. I hold a lot of Aquarius energy. So I'm looking tomorrow for my to have a get out of jail free card, so to speak. But I also learned a lot of wonderful lessons and elevated my spirit and saw the things that I need to do to take responsibility for my frequency and for my mission and my message. So spend some time reflecting. After all, full moons are about reflecting. And are you out of balance with your physical, spiritual, mental, and emotional health? Are you taking care of all of those every day? Are you addressing all of them? Are you dancing? Are you listening to music? Are you creating? This is such creative energy, and it's highly sensitive energy. I mentioned that Virgo is the most physically sensitive sign of the zodiac, and Pisces is the most emotionally sensitive sign of the zodiac. So during this time, you will lift others up and inspire them. That's what you want to do. This is an indescribably powerful month, and you want to release all that prevents your awareness of oneness, all those details. The challenge with the Virgo energy is figuring life out, going into analysis paralysis rather than living in the present moment. One of the things that's really helpful is to prioritize. With Jupiter in Aries, there's so many ideas, and Mars in Gemini, so many ideas coming through. What do you want to pioneer? Who are you going to be now? What's the new identity you're going to birth as spring rolls on? All of these big questions, all of this energy that can really jazz your nervous system up. So breathing, having some kind of breath regimen, stretching, moving. After all, water needs to flow. And Pisces rules the lymphatic system, as well as the pineal, your gateway. And during this time, during this full moon, you may find that there's just a lot of ideas and a lot of thinkety-think and a lot of scatteredness, confusion. That can be very Piscean too. And Virgo can just be bringing up all kinds of mental stuff. So if you take a breath, especially if you just remember to breathe in and out of your heart, there's a way to calm your parasympathetic nervous system. Breathe into the count of 4 through your nose and exhale to the count of 8 through your mouth. And as you do that, know that it's like a hit of vitamin D for the myelin sheath that covers your nerves. Very, very powerful. Simple, easy, powerful. It's remembering to do it. So we're living our dream practically. What are the practical steps you're taking? What are you dedicated to? Where are you off in all these directions? Where is your life disorganized or your mind disorganized? Where are you allowing the media to control your frequency, to put ideas in there that are not aligned with the new earth that you are creating, with the love revolution that you're part of? Ask yourself that. It's so easy to get hooked because it's a very dramatic time, and the media has there's so much the sky is falling stuff, and they're very fact oriented, very very organized, very determined in their presentation. But that's their reality, not the one you're creating. So with Pluto moving, we're going to be releasing old systems and structures. And let's look at the layout for this full moon. As I mentioned, the full moon, it's the moon itself is, yes, it is. It's time for more joy. Thank you, Yolanda. And remember that the clearest evidence of the presence of spirit is joy, when you just allow yourself to be joyful, to experience life. We have been programmed to think there's somewhere to get to, that we are making a living rather than a life. And it's so important to ground yourself in the reality of the present moment. It's the only point of power. And at the time of the full moon, you're going to make a wish. So with Neptune opposing the moon, and by sign, you've got the magic. You've got the potential for magic right there. And I'm looking for this. I have so many notes here. I've got to get this stuff pared down when it's such an incredibly busy month. So I mentioned Jupiter in Aries sextiling. We also have Chiron there. So this is this moon can bring a lot of healing, this full moon. The magic of instantaneous healing, or at least with Mercury and Pisces, opening yourself to the messages that come through. The medicine is in the message. So ask what's being called for. You may be going through ascension symptoms, as they're called. And if you are, your health is, you really want to take care of your health. One of the challenges with Virgo energy is comparison. And comparison is crippling. Virgo can just, I remember my business partner one time said to me years ago, because I have Virgo rising, I'm building a mansion and you're focusing on paint chips. The mansion is Sagittarius, the paint chips, Virgo. So Virgo can really get sidetracked and it can get very critical. Discernment is a really good word for Virgo. And that's where your priorities come in. We're still in the gibbous phase until tomorrow morning. So the gibbous phase, and we are about 7 degrees Virgo moon right now. So on our way to a 16-degree full moon, which is, I believe it's the fifth in a row that have been at 16 degrees, underscoring that 7. It's the number of Saturn as it moves into Pisces. The number of Saturn is 7. So 7 is all around us, reminding us of co-creation with spirit, reminding us to move inward. This is a time of inwardness this year. We are shifting our own consciousness to become more and more aligned. And Saturn can bring fear or love. And we have to choose in each moment. There's that phrase, feel the fear and do it anyway. Drop into your heart. Know when fear is actually something that is, physically dangerous. But most of the time it's not. Most of the time it's false expectations appearing real. So we have Chiron conjunct Jupiter and Venus. And so, because Venus is still in Aries until the 25th. So we find that there's potential for healing our individual wounds, our perception of how we put ourselves out into the world. Jupiter is faith and charity. It's also hope. And hope is an interesting concept. It can be kind of a beggar. It's I hope as opposed to I affirm. Feel the difference of that vibration? Yeah. So write down what you're releasing. Pisces, with Neptune in Pisces, Neptune is known as the great dissolver. So you can have a really, really powerful release experience at this full moon. So write down what you're releasing and then write a wish. I happily and thankfully wish to, wish for. And it may be a really good one is all I need to know, all I need to, to dedicate myself to have a happy, healthy immune system. And of course, as Bernie Siegel said, the strongest stimulant for the immune system is self-love. So that's a great wish. That's a great wish. So you want to write down everything you're releasing on a piece of paper. And you can start that, you can start that today as you work this last day of gibbous energy, of waxing phase energy, where you can look at your intentions, the intentions that you created 2 weeks ago at the new moon, and take a step on each one of those, one of the 3 or 4 intentions that you have. What can you do so you have a happy full moon report card, so that self-critical Virgo aspect doesn't take you over? And then you're going to burn the paper that has what you're releasing on it. And at this point, you're in sacred space. You are sacred space. Wherever you are is holy ground. But at this time, be in a reflective, kind of a reflective mode. Maybe, as I said, maybe you've set up an altar, lit a candle, The full moon, of course, is exact at 4:40 a.m. So when you get up, you can do some full moon work. But be sure to look at it tonight. Tonight, it's going to be in its most glorious fullness for you to take a look at. And you can draw down the moon. You can call the energy of the moon tomorrow night. It will also be quite spectacular. And as you burn what you're releasing, as you burn that paper and the smoke rises, see the smoke as though it's like a sticky thing, just taking all the negativity, anything that would prevent you from having your wish come true, takes it right out of your atmosphere. Oh, and so as you do that, just know that it's going back to its native nothingness and come back into your heart. And if you remember from 2 weeks ago, I did that wonderful heart pineal manifestation meditation, and you can use that. So you drop into your heart, you picture, you visualize what it would look like to have that wish come true right now. And then you step into the picture you've created and feel what it feels like to have that wish come true right now. And as you do that, if any dream stealers, as I call them, come up, if you make a sound from your belly and just wah, move it right on out. If it didn't get burned up with that when you burned your paper, when you did your burning bowl work. And then remember that frequency and take where you've written your wish on a piece of paper or in your journal, put that out into the full moon tomorrow night and charge that page and then tuck it away to include that wish in one or more of your intentions when the new moon in Aries comes. And we're moving into quite a powerful, powerful season as far as, because we're moving into eclipse season. So, April, going to be very, very powerful. And of course, we'll be talking about those eclipses as well. So remember that your words, your thoughts, your feelings are the frequency that manifests your world, your experience of the world, not the media or the world dominators' experience of the world. We are becoming transcendent galactic humans. And this is with AI and everything that's been predicted to really ramp up as Pluto moves into Aquarius, we are going to rise and are rising to all those gifts that are innate, that are in our DNA. We are not separate and we are not flawed. These were 2 of the biggest errors that were put on man. With Saturn moving into Pisces, it's about spirituality. It's about the old structures dissolving. So it's going to be a very, very interesting time. And throughout the week, we will move into the disseminating phase. The moon will move from Virgo into Libra tomorrow. And then so it will also move into Scorpio later in the week. And then on the weekend, on Saturday, the moon will move into Sagittarius. And that's a light, bright, expansive energy. Good fortune. Yeah. So as you move into the rest of this week, you may find that things seem to feel more intense. And so it's even more important for you to stay in touch with what inspires you. This full moon is in a sextile with Uranus. So get out in nature. Wake up your senses in the most positive way by connecting with nature, taking a walk. It's a wonderful thing to do. And I don't know if you've got, snow or crazy winter stuff where you are, but you can step outside, if nothing else, unless you're up in Big Bear. I hear Big Bear is snowed in, which is pretty amazing for California. It's a good season for them ski wise, but not when you can't get out of your house, right? So I'll give you the exact times on, tomorrow at 6:44 a.m. So that's after the full moon, of course. I'm sorry. On Wednesday, the moon moves into Libra at 6:44 a.m. On Thursday, the moon moves into Scorpio. So Wednesday's quiet, but you're still in the new moon phase at that point. So on Thursday, the moon moves into Scorpio at 4:06 p.m. So that's always intensely emotional, but it's in harmony with this Piscean cycle. So we're reminded to continue to do our South Node in Scorpio work, releasing all the old wounds and hurts that get in our way. On Friday, the moon moves into the disseminating phase, and we assimilate the ahas, the awarenesses of this full moon. How could we live more ecologically? How could our health regimen be more all-inclusive? How are we supporting our immune system, especially with our self-love, but also with our movement, with the things that keep the lymphatics flowing? Could be a great time for a lymphatic massage. And on Saturday, the moon moves into Sagittarius at 11:21 p.m. So as we begin the next week, the moon will be in Sagittarius. So as I said, this is an incredibly, incredibly powerful month. And I watched something yesterday, a commencement address that Jim Carrey gave recently. I really suggest that you look that up. It embodies all of these energies of this time. So if you've got a little bit of the astrology language in your head, in yourself, in your life, you will find that it hits the transits this month. It hits the Pisces Virgo energy beautifully. I was just amazed. And he began with, I used to believe that who I was ended at the edge of my skin, that I had been given this little vehicle called a body in which to experience creation, although I couldn't have asked for a better model, a sportier model. But I knew it was a loner. And now I drive a convertible. I thought that was cute. Now, fear is going to be a factor in your life. You can decide how much. You can spend your whole life imagining ghosts, worrying about the pathway to the future. But all that will ever be is what's happening here and the decisions we make in this moment, which are based in either love or fear. So many of us choose our path out of fear, disguised as practicality. Downside of Virgo, right? So as I mentioned, it's the illusion of separation that is the most dangerous right now. And Saturn in Pisces is about walking that path of being in a human body as spirit, having a human experience in this human body. Because we know that we are far greater than this little vehicle, this beautiful little vehicle we've been given. We are Source incarnate. I am that I am. And a wonderful mantra is Rama. 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 I celebrate the joy of the divine light within me. Rama. And so look with the full moon in Virgo at the nuts and bolts, the priorities that will help you bring your dream into reality? What is the forest? And what are the important trees in that forest that are aligned with your frequency, with your dream? Allow yourself to Imagineer. Allow yourself to dream. Be inspired. Be enthusiastic. Be the creator that you are in this powerful, powerful month and this incredibly dynamic full moon where you're making a wish aligned with your dream as you make your dream real while Saturn's in Pisces. Now, as always, I wish you a wonderful week and I love you to the moon. If you want a reading, click on the link. And if you want to know my special offering for March and April, which is really a good thing, where all these energies impact you and how to navigate them for your highest good and greatest joy, message me. I love you to the moon and way beyond. Thanks for joining me.